So you may remember last time I made a video on this DartZone Pro Mk2.1 and how it wasn't working. So a little update, I have got it working now. It was quite an ordeal the past couple months. Just to prove it, I'm just going to shoot something. So actually working is probably the best part. Definitely works. Fucking shit's powerful, eh? Feeds rail as well. I had no issue with the magazines anyway, but it was mostly the blaster. So I'll go quickly in depth as to how I resolved this issue, because hopefully it will help someone else as well. But basically, the original issue was it wasn't priming, and then the issue after I fixed the priming was it wasn't firing at all. Like this would just get stuck right here, so I couldn't pull it out at all. Now I was about to say, you can see I got some paraffin oil, so that's actually the actual final outcome. Now I will need to undo it, so I'll just be a moment. And while I undo it, I'll just quickly talk about what the process was, because it was a fair while before I got this working. And I did contact, because I got it through a third party, I contacted them to see if they could, or potentially, you know, a replacement would have been nice, but you know, it was outside the warranty of 1 month, so that's completely understandable. But still, the fact that I've had to do all this, like I thought maybe DartZone would, I don't know, come through with something, because I originally emailed them as well, and they told me to go through the third party. Now, I understand that it's handling a lot of people, so I'm not going to harp on that one. The actual blaster itself, so I think this has taken probably 3 months of just messing around with this shit, and it's just been a constant battle. I only fixed this like a couple of weeks ago, so I'm still fresh in my mind. I actually want to go out there and properly use it, because it's still new to me. Like I said in the last video, I only spent like probably 30 or so shots on this, which is nothing. It's like you're getting a toy and basically saying your parents are saying, oh, you can't play with it. That's how I feel. I'm a kid, yeah. Straight kid. The only difference as well is it's my money as well. So it's like, I worked for this, you know? It's like the kids worked for the toy, and then you're just saying, no, fuck you, you can't have it. I've got to say as well, I do want to get replacement screws for this because of how many times I've opened it and closed it. They're not bore, but they're getting there. They're on their way. Right, so that should be everything. And also I want to get a replacement. So this last, see that little peg right there? I want to get a replacement one of those. You can see how many times I've tried to jam it open. It's actually pretty bad. All right, so let's jam it open for the last time. Actually, I might need to take off the other hood piece, yeah. I'm just going to take off the other hood piece just because it would easily be able to show what's actually going on, because I'm going to have to take it all out. If you haven't watched the last video, I thought I fell over in some sand and that's what did this. And you know what, technically I think that is right. But it's not the sand that did it, it's just like the sand getting in the grooves that kind of tightened everything up. Because what I did, if I can get this open, cool, done. What I did, which I also mentioned in the last video, is we don't need that, that's fine, that's for the magazine, take that out anyway. That's a replacement spring I did anyway. So what I did in the last video was actually mess with the trigger to get that going. You can see there's this little leather piece on here. It's hardened leather piece, so it will push back into this where the trigger goes to release the spring, and basically we'll shoot it forward, which this actually does help. The pushing mechanism actually does help, having that little leather piece there, because it extends it, so it makes it a little bit more like a hair press you need on the trigger. But it is still quite heavy, that being said, so it's not really a hair trigger at all. So where exactly, because I was dumbfounded actually when I did this. I basically, after I had sent all those emails off and they told me you know, I think you've done everything. If you need a replacement part, we can't send like a full blaster, but we can do possibly replacement parts because it's outside the warranty. I was just like, fuck it, I'll give it one more go. So I just basically, because they mentioned something about, is there something different in this part of the blaster, whatever you call this, like the spring part, the actual case for the spring part. They said, is there something potentially missing in there? And I checked and I was like, of course there isn't anything missing. Like, it's basically just what's in there. And I would take that out because it's relevant to what I'm talking about here. So I took it out, literally took all of this out. And I was just like, hold on, this was lubricated a lot better than when I originally had it. Now I'm looking at it, it's quite dirty. But anyway, I was just like, okay, well, maybe I'll just give it a go. And I just got the paraffin oil, you know, lubed this up. And then I was just like, you know, while I'm here, I'm pretty sure there's other stuff that needs lubricating. So I took this out, you know, I even lubricated the spring just because it's attached to that little case. And then I lubricated this part. Now this, I didn't realize was the issue still. Well, obviously because the trigger wasn't pulling. So this thing, once I lubricated this, it started working and I kind of figured out what was going on. So it turns out this pin, the firing pin that feeds into here, basically it was feeding through and it would just get stuck. It would just get stuck. So it doesn't matter how much pressure I was putting on the trigger, it wouldn't let go of the pin. It would basically just block it like this. So as soon as I lubricated it, it went and then it like fired. I was like, oh shit. So basically it's a little ledge right there. You can kind of see it. You can see it opening and closing if I pop it up, but it's a ledge that this sits on. So I'll just pop the firing pin in. You can see that sitting on a ledge. So basically that's what I lubricated. The little bit that the ledge is sitting on right here. Pop. And that was it. And you can even feel it's quite a lot more easier to do, but it was such a simple fix. And now the blaster's working. I'm dumbfounded. I'm quite sad, but you know, you get there, you figure things out, and I hope this actually helps someone else.